So learning target 5, day 3 is multiplying polynomials. So the last couple of days we have looked at the distributive property, and multiplying polynomials using distributive property is no different. So we're going to start with our first example. And at first we're just going to distribute what are called monomials. A monomial is a single term. So right here, our 7x is a monomial. 3x squared is a monomial. 2x is a monomial, or negative 2x, and 5 is a monomial. Once you start throwing adding and subtracting signs in there, if we looked at this entire term altogether, there are specific terms for them. We're just going to call them polynomials. So when we're multiplying monomials, that will be a single term distributed like normal with the distributive property. So 7x times 3x squared, we're going to multiply our coefficients together. A coefficient is a number being multiplied by a variable. So 7 times 3 is 21. And then we're going to multiply our variables. If we have x times x squared, so I'm going to go over here and write this out, x, and then x squared is x times x. So we have x times x times x, or x cubed. Distributing my 7x to the negative 2x, 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. X times x is x squared. And distributing again, 7 times 5 is 35. And the x just goes along because there aren't any other x's to multiply it with. Let's take a look at one more, in case that example didn't make sense. Maybe seeing it again will help. So taking my 2y squared, distributing it to my first term, multiplying the coefficients, 2 times 9 is 18. Y squared times y to the fourth. Let's look at this the long way one more time, and then maybe we can find a shortcut. So y squared is y times y. Y to the fourth is y times y times y times y. So when we look at it all together, we have y times itself 6 times, or y to the 6th. So look at those exponents, exponent of 2, exponent of 4, and when we multiplied them, we got an exponent of 6. Essentially, we're adding our exponents together. So 2y squared times 4y cubed will be 8. Adding our exponents together, 2 plus 3 gives us 5. And 2 times negative 12 is negative 24. Make sure you're still multiplying your coefficients, just adding the exponents. So y squared times y gives us y cubed. All right, so now we're going to take a look at a little application. We've got a square picture. Anytime I'm given a word problem, I like to draw out a picture. So I've got a square picture that is 4x on each side, and it's surrounded by a frame that is 6x on each side. And the question is, what is the area of the frame alone? So we're looking for the area of just this piece. So what I'm thinking is I need the area of the entire frame, and I will subtract off the area of the picture. So remember, to find area of the square, we take side squared, or we take 6x times 6x, and we'll subtract off the area of that picture, which was 4x by 4x. So first of all, multiplying by 6x times 6x, 6 times 6 gives me 36. X times x gives me x squared. Again, sorry about the commercial. 4 times 4 gives me 16, and x times x gives me x squared. So now I have like terms. Remember, they have to have the same variable with the same power in order to subtract them. So the x squareds are like terms. 36x squared minus 16x squared, we subtract our coefficients. Remember not to subtract the exponents when you subtract. It's kind of like when you have a fraction, you don't subtract the denominator. You need a common denominator, you need like terms, but you don't actually subtract or add the denominators together. Same with our variables.